Okay, now let's see how it's going to work down here on the engine plate. There we go, just like that. So I need to grind this back a little bit. Looks like I need to open up my slots a little bit more so I can get this come back this way. And I'm going to have to do some grinding so I can get this, because this is this engine plate here also has a lip on it. This is an original engine plate out of the 1972 era Montgomery Ward frame that this whole thing started with. Hey guys and gals, it's me, George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. What do you think? I'm thinking about a rat rod. What do you think? Not with handlebars. And not with a snowblower in the front. Use your imagination now. Get these big meats in the back and then little skinny. There we go. Does that help you get the picture better? Huh? Steering wheel. Yeah. Got my shifter here. Well, guys and gals, it arrived. Totally unexpectedly. It just was dropped off by my friend, and electric start Montgomery Ward, a GX7, so I'm assuming, and he assumes, that it means it's a 7 horsepower motor. Fodder for our jalopy. So I've got to cut this groove here along my welds. I've done a little grinding and getting it ready for welding. There it is. So all I got to do is well, I could tell you one thing. When your hands start getting shaky, it makes it harder on your welding abilities. And when there's a suspect to begin with, yeah, not good. Alright, so I'm going to take the motor and set it over there in place again. And we'll get it lined up. And we'll squirt some paint down through the holes so we can find out where we're going to drill our mounting holes. This is only tacked in. I got to finish welding this across here and down here, but this is good enough for engine running purposes, which is what we're about at the moment. Now if I can get this puppy over there. Okay. And I'm lining it up, center bolt on the flywheel with the mount, the center of our spring mount, which is the center of the chassis. Let me bring it down here and you can see what we got going on. I suppose another thing that we need to think about is, will our grill shell fit in there still? Looks like I can go to the right a little bit. There's our center point right here. Looks like I need to go to the right some more. What do we think? Does that look pretty good? I think we're pretty close. Close enough. And close enough I can measure from the side of my frame to the outside of the engine plate. Now I got a little bit over 4 inches there. Yeah, it looks pretty good both sides. Let me see what we got on the other side. Yep. A little over 4 inches, about 4 1/8. I'm happy with that. I think that's pretty good. So, what I need to do now is get a paint can, squirt down in this hole here, and then squirt down in the hole over there, and I can see I'm going to want to fill in that hole over there some, unless I move it forward a little more. And I think I do need to do that. So hold on to your hats. Well, after I turned the camera off last night, I marked my spots for the mounting of the engine and drilled out the holes. So we have them all marked. The only one that I actually got my black circle was in this one here. I did get the outside, this one here smeared all over the place. This one here I got the outside, but using this one for reference, I was able to take measurements off the front to make sure that my marks were the same, and then measurements across, taking the measurements off the motor itself. And then after I get them plotted out, then I measured them crosswise, making sure it was square. And I see my battery is running low because I left the camera out here overnight. So I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to mount the motor in there, and we're going to see about starting it. Hold on to your hats. Well, the engine's all bolted down, and she's all set up, ready to start. Got a temporary gas tank hanging up here. I put the new carburetor on. I will probably prime it before we try starting it. You can see I cut the exhaust off. I might have already had that in the last video. I don't know. Starter solenoid down there, hooked up to the starter. The battery is, battery needs to be replaced. It's just about not even enough to click over the solenoid. Well, hi guys and gals, it's the next day. This is Friday. Let's see, Friday, I'm not sure what the date is today, 15th, 16th, something like that, of September. We got our motor all mounted in, got our new carburetor on. You can see my gas can, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I have my temporary gas tank hanging up from the beam. I have tried charging up the battery that had been in the goofy cart, but it just didn't have enough oomph left in it. So now we have upgraded to a lawnmower size battery. This is a brand new one that I bought for one of my lawnmowers, and I haven't gotten around to putting it in. So I think we're ready to give it a try. So I'm gonna set you back here a little bit out of the way, but in the way enough so that you can see what's going on. This does have a choke on it. It's not hooked up to anything. It has a pulse pump. This is a pulse pump right here on the carburetor. So it has this line that goes down to the crankcase and grabs pulse out of that. I have a fuel filter in line, and I have an on and off valve here. And I'm going to turn the gas on. I'm going to move you around. I think you'd rather see it from the back side more. So I'm going to move you over here. Okay, now you can get a better idea what's going on here. Got our battery here. It's considerably bigger than the one that was there, so we're going to have to figure out something else for this to mount, because it takes up more space, and I still have to have room for my clutch And the right angle drive box, I believe, is still going to go back in the original place. Well, we'll see. Let's give this puppy a try and see what happens. Kill wire. I don't have a switch on it yet, so it sounds pretty good. I haven't done any adjustments on the carburetor, and I don't know what kind of adjustments there are for it. Let me see. I have some little mufflers like this. And they'll probably get knocked right off as soon as we start them if I don't put a tack weld. So I think I'm going to put a tack weld on each one, and then we'll try starting it again and see how it sounds. Let me turn the gas off for the moment. You can see that we definitely need, well, we don't have any throttle linkage hooked up. We don't have choke linkage hooked up. And yeah, we're just trying to see how it's going to run, and that's the longest we've had it running since we got it. So let me I'm going to turn you off. I'm going to put a couple of tacks on those mufflers and we'll try it again. Okay, I'm going to turn the gas on again. See what it sounds like with mufflers on here. How am I going to hold that? Oh, you need to hold that choke open somehow. A little spring would be good. I got to tell you, I probably won't be working on this again for a week or so. I need to get my addition finished off down there so I can get stuff put in there. And I also need to do a major cleaning in the shop here. I'm still debating with myself whether or not I'm going to eliminate the governor on this motor. It's hooked up and it's working at the moment. And of course, this motor was not set up to, it doesn't have an accelerator pump in it per se. Oh, I don't know that this is going to work. Maybe it will. Really unhandy having shaky hands when you're trying to do stuff. Guess I could just give up and quit doing stuff, huh? But no, that's not going to happen. That's not for this boy. Okay. Now it's holding. That'll hold that open. Let's try this again. This is my kill wire over here. This will eventually be hooked up to the ignition switch, which all the ignition switch on this will do is engage the solenoid and ground out the ignition. Here's my starter wire down here, and I just touch it to the battery side of the solenoid. flame will burn it off. Well, there you have it. Sounds pretty good with the mufflers, actually. And they might be all that I need, but the mufflers are not going to stay like that because they'd be pointing right back at the body. But what I have in mind, one of the things I have in mind is that we can, because I have, my foot is going to be here, down here on the brake pedal, you know. So I have to have room for that. Batteries rubbing against the brake cable. So I have to have that clear. But what I'm thinking is maybe running the exhaust down. And I have one of these, and I could get another one. This is gas line, and it's about the same diameter as the pipe coming out of the head, and it's bendable. I could have them coming right down here just like that. Be awful close to everything, but we'll have to see. The other possibility is that we would take it and run it up over the top and come down in the front and exit underneath the vehicle. But those are things we got to think about. But that's a possibility, you know. Always got to be thinking ahead. So I think my next thing to do on this, let me turn the gas off. Turn the gas off there, and I think the next thing for me to do is to take the motor back off. I've got to finish welding the engine plate in down here, you know, down in here. I got to finish welding that in, and I got to clean this whole area where the motor mounts to now, because I stripped it down to do this project. So now I'm going to have to repaint that. And the whole goofy cart is pretty dirty because, you know, most of its running time has been here in my yard. My driveway is a dirt driveway. We did have it at the airport, which was on pavement, but a lot of it is running around the loop here at my yard. So the whole thing needs a good cleaning. And I'm debating about tearing it down further. But I guess what I need to do before I get to that point is I need to figure out how everything's going to work. I'm going to have to figure out fitment for the body now. Going to have to figure out a way for the battery to get mounted. I don't know if maybe I could, I don't know, maybe I could even cut the hole out down underneath there and drop the battery down in. We'll see. A lot of things to consider. Another thing I got to do is I've got to modify my radiator shell because it doesn't fit in front of the fan on the flywheel now, and the motor is still going to get moved forward probably 1/4 of an inch. so that'll be even less. Well, we can make it work. And of course, you know, before I let you go, we gotta do one more thing. One more thing. And no, I haven't forgotten about the possibility of dual carburetors, but that can be done anytime. But what we need to figure out and get it working first is how everything's going to function. And then if we want to add dual carburetors onto it, we can always do that. But even if we only have a single carburetor up there, we've got our chrome air cleaner all ready to go, don't you know? So till next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, saying thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, thumbs up, sharing, all them good things. And you know, in the old days of YouTube, they used to notify you every time you got a new subscriber. I don't get notifications. I have to go hunting to find out. And I know I have new subscribers because I'm well over 8,000 subscribers now. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have subscribed and have become a part of our little garage gang family here on the Shade Tree channel. And a special shout out to all the folks that have been with me almost since the beginning. We're talking about going back to I think 2009. I'm thinking that's when I posted my first video, which lasted all of 14 seconds. I happened to look at it last night. So there we have it. Thanks again for following along. And like I said, I'll be back on the addition, try to get that closed in. And then I'm going to come in here in the shop and do a major cleaning. Did I say a major cleaning? I mean, just look down here on the bench. Look at all the junk all over the place. And the bench behind me. And the bench over there. Yeah, we have a Cub Cadet engine that needs to be put back together and installed. So we got plenty of stuff to keep us busy. And but these things, the stuff in the shop, we can easily do throughout the winter. So that's the plan. No more babbling. Thanks again. I'm liking it. Sounds pretty good, if you ask me. How's that for a snapshot?